nobody care about no man. Men have a hard life. Your life could be easy as a woman if you know how to play your role. Y'all make your life hard.
You want to know something that most women aren't ready to hear? Modern feminism killed chivalry. Modern feminism has shifted from seeking equality to promoting superiority and resentment towards men, framing men as oppressors rather than partners and equals. With the birth of modern feminism, there came the birth of the girl boss, I don't need a man. Chivalry was never meant to make women look weak. It was made to create a culture of mutual respect where men acted honorably towards women and acknowledged their virtue and grace. Modern feminism, by demanding sameness instead of equality, has blurred those lines. In trying to erase gender differences, it's erased the gestures that celebrate them. The result of this is now we have an entire generation of men who are not willing to honor, pursue, or protect women. We have this entire generation of men who just want to hook up on the first date, who have no respect for women, who don't hold open the door, who don't buy flowers, and it is because of modern feminism.
You ever notice how equality sounds amazing? Until it's time to pay for it. Everybody loves the idea of being equal. Until it means taking on responsibilities men take care of, carrying weight men carry, and losing the comfort men lose every day. What most people call equality now isn't balance. It's benefit without burden. Women still want masculine leadership. Men still want feminine softness. But neither trust the other with it. That's mutual defensiveness, self-protection over cooperation, equality, open doors, and quietly closed hearts. When everyone must be the same, no one is allowed to be different. Without difference, there's no polarity, just negotiation. Love doesn't die from lack of equality. It dies from lack of clarity.
Fellas, do not choose a woman who don't want to be a woman.
Right.
There's a reason that our grandparents have the cutest love stories where the men pursued the women and they didn't have sex until they were married and they respected and honored each other. And now we are seeing the result of the crash and burn of modern feminism. And unfortunately, it is affecting a lot of women looking for life partners and a lot of men looking for life partners. Feminism is great. The idea of feminism is great to promote equality, but it has evolved into something that is toxic and dangerous to our society.
Men feel it. They hear the words, but they see the action. And those don't match. Equality shows up when it's convenient. When people talk about rights, independence, and freedom, women stand tall. They'll march for it. They'll post about it. They'll speak with pride about breaking barriers, earning their own money, and living their life on their own terms. And honestly, they should. But when people talk about duties, sacrifice, and accountability, the room gets quiet because that part of equality doesn't trend. It doesn't get applause. It means showing up when it's uncomfortable, taking responsibilities when things fall apart, and carrying the same weight men have carried without recognition. Equality sounds beautiful when it's about opportunity, but not when it's about obligation. And that's where the gap lives. Between what sounds fair and what actually feels fair when life gets heavy. Suddenly, it's a man's job again. That's why so many men feel like they can't win. No matter what they do, it's never enough. Provide, and they're controlling. Step back, and they're weak. Show emotions, and they're soft. Stay stoic, and you're cold. You try to protect, and they call it possession. You try to lead. They say it's ego. You stay silent, they say you don't care. You open up, and they say you're too emotional. It's like every version of you gets punished in a different way. Men aren't confused because they don't understand women. They're confused because the rules of equality only seems to apply when it's convenient. Because if equality really meant equal standards, then strength, leadership, and sacrifice wouldn't be seen as masculine traits. They'd be seen as human ones. But when life gets heavy and the comfort of equality starts to fade, most still look at the man to carry the weight. And that's the quiet truth no one wants to say out loud. We love the idea of equality until it costs us comfort, until it means sharing the same pressure, the same accountability, and the same expectation. And men feel that every day. That's why they're tired. Not of women, because of trying to meet a standard that shifts, depending on who benefits from it. because nothing breaks a man faster than giving everything he has and still being told it's not enough.
So one thing that I don't understand about women is why do y'all keep fighting so hard to be equal to men? But we got a whole era dedicated to, I want to live a soft life. I want a man to take care of me. Like, if you want a dude to take care of you, living off a dude is equivalent to living with your mama. So you can't be sitting over here expecting somebody else to take care of your whole life, but you don't want to submit, but you don't want to do what they say.
Men didn't sign up to compete with the person they love. They wanted partnership, someone who respects the load they carry, not someone trying to prove that they can carry it better. Now, equality turned relationship into scoreboards and love into negotiation. Women today have more financial freedom and career independence than any generation before them. But with that freedom came something no one warned them about: pressure without pause. According to the American Psychological Association, women consistently reported high level of stress, burnouts, and emotional exhaustion than men. Not because they're weaker, but because they were told they could have it all without ever being told what having it all really costs. And somewhere in that pursuit, many never learned how heavy the other side of equality really is. How hard it's always been to be a man, to wake up every day with invisible expectations, to provide, protect, and perform, and still be told it's never enough. Now, both sides are tired, but for different reasons. Women aren't just tired. They're drained from carrying life on both shoulders. The bills, the pressures, the image, the emotion, all while pretending it's light, all in the name of equality. But is that normal? Is that really how life was supposed to be? Because somewhere along the way, what started as empowerment turned into exhaustion. And no one stopped to ask, was that balance or another kind of burden? That goes against how peace was supposed to feel. And men? They're not untouched by it either. Men are drained from never being allowed to stop carrying it. The pressure to protect, to provide, to prove. They don't get to fall apart because the world only claps for them when they hold it together. They wake up every day to silent expectations, to be strong without showing pain, to lead without being controlling, to give without ever asking to receive. And when that weight finally breaks them, they don't get compassion. They get called weak. So now, both sides are running on empty. Women are exhausted from trying to be everything. Men are exhausted from pretending they don't feel anything. And that's why modern relationships feel like a quiet war over who's more unappreciative, because both are fighting the same battle just on different fronts. Men aren't angry. They're just tired of defending what they naturally are, tired of caring while being told they're privileged, tired of effort no one notices until it's gone. Before we talk about equality, we have to talk about what it's costing us. You can't build love on competition. You can't say you want equality, then reject everything that makes it equal. So let's talk about what equality became and why it's quietly destroying connections from the inside out. Let's be honest. A lot of people don't want equality. They want selective independence. The kind that shines online, but folds when accountability knocks. They want the crown without the weight. Strong on the label, fragile in the healing instructions. In marriages, men are still the primary or sole breadwinner in just over half of couples. Breadwinner wives exist. A Pew Research Center study found that domestic labor still skews towards women, even when they earn more, and that imbalance slowly eats at relationships, turning teamwork into quiet resentment. Love was never meant to be a competition. She says equality. Until the job is hard, the car breaks, the roof leaks, or chaos needs leadership. Then it's, where are the real men? Men hear that and pause. Equality wasn't about sharing the work. It was about sharing the spotlight.
So you're telling me that a woman has to go work like a man every day, and a man goes work and he's tired when he gets home. A woman's not tired. She has to clean, cook, do the dishes, do the laundry. Are you kidding me?
Why don't you want to do that?
What are you talking about? Why don't I? You know how tiring that is? Have you done that?
Bureau of Labor statistics show that men make up the vast majority of high-risk work and workplace fatality. That's fine. Not every woman needs to do what men do. But don't claim equality, then sprint back to tradition when it's convenient. Equality was supposed to mean shared responsibilities. Instead, it became emotional outsources, freedom to decide with the safety that a man will fix it when it breaks. Don't be controlling, but if he doesn't take charge, he's not man enough. Treat me like an equal, but if he stops providing, he's not a real man. The rules changed. The expectations didn't. Clinicians describe a rise in masculine fatigue, men draining themselves adapting roles just to avoid criticism. Men don't want to dominate women. They want to matter. Dependability isn't a flaw, it is love. But in Equiland, effort is invisible until it's gone. When men pull back, people call them cold. But really, they're just empty. It's hard to keep pouring when every drop is treated like it's owed. Equality without gratitude becomes entitlement, and entitlement kills connection faster than distance ever could. So, men are quieter, women angrier, and everyone feels misunderstood. Equality was supposed to make us partners. It made us opponents. We talk about opportunity, not outcome. Opportunity without accountability breeds confusion. Women were told, have it all, but no one warned them that having it all means doing it all. Men were told to step back. No one asked what happened when a man loses his role. Freedom up, fulfillment down. That's imbalance. Men didn't lose power, they lost purpose. Women didn't gain peace, they gained pressure. Equality said, you don't need him. And now, both sides feel lonelier. Sociologists call this role collapse. Responsibilities blur. No one knows who does what, and the result is frustration, resentment, and burnout. Men aren't retreating from weakness. They're adapting to rules that keep changing. If a woman says, I don't need a man, long enough, men believe her, and they stop showing up. Then the silence gets called lack of men. That's not a shortage. That's an echo. Remove a man's role. Remove his reasons. Overload a woman's role. Remove her rest. Now both are exhausted, one from always being needed and the other one from never being needed. Men didn't disappear. They disconnected. Not from hate, from indifference fatigue. Silence isn't weakness. It's what happens when effort meets indifference. Withdrawal behavior is a common protective response to chronic criticism. People conserve energy where appreciation is low. So, men stopped debating, they stopped defending, and started protecting their peace. Men used to fight to be seen. Now, they fight to be left in peace. Walking away hurts less than feeling like you're failing on purpose. When a man feels unappreciated, he doesn't argue. He disappears, physically present, mentally miles away. That's emotional survival. Here's the irony. The equality women fought for often hurt them too. Option rose, peace didn't. You can't be everything and rest at the same time. According to the Harvard Gazette, many men report feeling unseen and unneeded in relationships, contributing to a sense of loss of purpose. This phenomenon is linked to societal condition that hinders emotional expression and the decline of traditional male provider roles. Women feel the weight, men feel the void. She's drowning in responsibilities. He's starving for relevance. She's tired of carrying everything. He's tired of feeling like nothing. Men aren't shutting down because they don't care. They shut down when they're not needed. How do we fix it? Complaining doesn't change anything. Pretending that it's fine doesn't either. Balance isn't about even. It's about effective.
She gets up and she says, Patrick, this is very hard for me to say this. And let me tell you why it's very hard. I said, what's that? She says, ever since in high school, I wanted to prove to men that I can beat them. So when I graduated high school and college, I opened up my salon. We do very well. I've made millions of dollars. My people and my work that work at the salon, they do very well for themselves. I drive a nice car. I have a nice house. I have money. I have millions. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You know what decision I made last night? I said, what's that? She says, I want a husband. I no longer want to compete with men. I need them. And I'm like, what? She's saying this in front of 2,000 people with her sister sitting right next to her. Wow. And now she's getting emotional. How many 65-year-old women do we have to hear saying that I marched with the feminist movement and I bought into the fact that men are the enemy? I've never been married. I'm alone and I'm miserable and I wish I would have never bought into that.
Studies on role complementary research show that couples who divide roles by strength and divide tasks based on individual strength and preferences, rather than a strict standard of fairness, tend to report higher satisfaction and lower conflict. This approach leverages each partner's unique ability and needs, creating a balanced and an effective partnership where the couples function as a team. Not fairness. Report higher satisfaction and less conflict in relationship studies. Call it complementary energy alignment when masculine and feminine support each other instead of compete. Stress drops, attraction rises. Maybe balance isn't splitting everything 50-50. Maybe it's trading strength. If he leads, protect that. If she nurtures, value that. Stop swapping roles. Master them. A relationship isn't 50-50. It's 100-100 in what each person does best. Sameness kills polarity. Polarity keeps connection alive. Men aren't built to compete with women. They're built to build with them. Women don't lose power trusting leadership. They gain peace by not carrying everything alone. Respect plus defined roles equal fewer fights and greater security. Aligns with key concepts from Dr. John Gottman research, though he primarily emphasizes flexible, shared roles rather than rigidly defined ones. His work demonstrates that mutual respect alongside effective conflict management and shared meaning leads to greater relationship stability and security. Respect creates rhythm. Rhythm keeps love stable. When both stop fighting for control, they finally make room for connection. Masculinity doesn't need to shrink. It needs respect. Femininity doesn't need to harden. Men were never meant to lead alone. Women were never meant to carry it all. Partnership isn't about power. It's about peace. When a man feels trusted, he becomes dependable. When a woman feels safe, she becomes soft. That's not weakness. That's chemistry. Real equality isn't same, it's solid. Two people in sync, no spotlight fight. When that rhythm returns, love feels less heavy, more home. We built a world chasing equality and forgot to protect balance. Equality is about rights. Balance is about respect. One can exist without the other, but love needs both. Freedom expanded. So did distance. Satisfaction gaps and loneliness rises even as choices explode. Many adults would rather stay single than argue about rules, not because love is dead, but because peace feels rare. Maybe equality didn't kill love. Ego did. The need to win, the fear of being needed, the silence that grew when both stopped listening. Love isn't keeping score, it's keeping rhythm. We traded rhythm for rivalry. Real-world logic. When men feel respected, they build. When women feel safe, they bloom. Judge both, and everything shuts down. It's time to stop arguing about who carries more and start asking what each was meant to carry best. Equality isn't the problem. Resentment is. Partnership isn't dead. It's buried under debates about who's right. If love is a team sport, respect is the oxygen, and both sides are running out of air. Maybe women don't need to prove they're equal. Maybe men don't need to prove they matter. Maybe the truth is simpler. We just need each other again without the scoreboard. Until we remember that we'll keep winning arguments and losing connection. Drop your thoughts below. Did modern equality bring us closer or quietly pull us apart? I want to hear from the men who felt it and from the women that are brave enough to admit it. It's been your girl Rene here. I'll see you guys in my next video.